Welcome to day 3, everyone, of the Bermuda Bowl and other events in the 2023 World Bridge Team Championships. Today, I have a special guest. I'm joined by Gans.
Hey.
Hey, good to have you with me, and hopefully we'll be doing some commentary later this week. But let's get right into the action. The first set of play that I wanted to take a look at was from the Wuhan Cup, 7th segment of the round robin. There are 23 matches in total, so a lot of the teams are fighting for those, 8th through 10th positions in these sets, trying to get into the quarterfinals at the end of the round robin. So the first hand I was interested in is this board 7. I'm going to jump over to the other room really quickly, and for the sake of argument, I'm just going to cover up all the hands other than West. South opens a heart.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel as West? I tell you that your partner's going to be on lead against 3 no trump. Would you like to overcall a spade with this hand?
I think maybe if you told me that this was going to be the bidding, I would have some reservations, but
but you feel pretty good about the 1 spade overcall. Well,
yeah.
It turns out that makes Declare's life a little bit easier when they ultimately arrive in 3 no trump. At one table, East did get off to a spade lead. West won the king. Ended up playing back a heart, just trying to set up tricks in East's hand because West knows their hand is completely dead. Declare able to knock out the ace of spades, win the heart return, and ultimately just give up 2 more heart tricks to East, setting up the 5th heart in South's hand. 9 tricks been made. Well, what happened in the other room? So in the other room, South opened a heart, North bid a spade, and West probably breathed a sigh of relief that they weren't doubled in a spade or anything like that. And after a couple more bids, 3 no trump in the North. At this table, East elected to lead the unbid suit, diamonds. 4 diamonds lead, goes around to the queen and king. Declare did his best to try and set up tricks in some of the round suits, ducking a heart, winning the diamond return, and leading spade up towards the queen jack 10. Queen of spades holds. I think you had pointed out that maybe the queen of spades not necessarily always going to be taken by East if they had like the ace or something in this position. So Declare can't be confident about the spade layout. But from here, Declare...
I think it's actually, yeah, and I think obviously everyone at the table knows North has exactly 4 spades, so this is going to look a little weird to East because, what is Declare doing, right? He went to dummy to make the spade play, but his partner didn't overcall a spade, so why does Declare need to be playing spades from dummy through West when West is known to have 5 spades, and they can't be that good because he's got the queen of diamonds already?
Sure, exactly.
So I think, so the whole thing probably looked a little strange to East, although obviously with his hand, he can't really do much about the result.
Yeah, for sure. But Declare continuing to go about trying to set up tricks in the round suits fruitlessly at this point. The hearts are so blocked and there's so few entries to the south hand, no real way to get a long heart going. So a club comes back, Declare unblocks the king of hearts, and from this position, it's possible if Declare had a divine read on what's going on from the opponent's hands that he could have found the right line of play here, which would be to lead a club to dummy's king. West would discard a spade, cash the ace of hearts, West would discard another spade, and then exit a spade to West, who would eventually have to lead a diamond away from the 10-5, giving Declare the last 2 tricks with the jack-8 of diamonds. But that's a little bit tough to figure out. So don't blame Declare for cashing the jack of diamonds in this position, hoping the 10 falls, and when that doesn't work, falling back on the potential of either clubs or hearts splitting 3-3. Very reasonable attempt, but when all of those things fail, East was able to claim the remainder and down 1.
Yeah.
Big swing going the way of Belgium here on this board, who were behind coming into that board, but they did fight back a little.
I would have to assume that France is one of the favorites in that event.
Sure, and as we can see, Belgium appears to be a pretty strong team as well, going almost even with France, even edging them out a little bit with the last couple of boards. In fact, due to the help of this board 13 that I wanted to bring up. So in one of the rooms, East opened a spade, West bid 2 hearts. East, not wanting to bid 3 diamonds, or maybe conventionally wasn't able to bid 3 diamonds because it would show a little bit of a better hand, rebids 2 spades over the 2 over 1, and this fetches 2 no from West, 3 no from East. So East never really showed the diamond suit, and North on lead, having heard the opponents bid both majors, selected a lead from his longest minor, Ace King 10 fourth of clubs.
Actually, it's North is the woman of the partnership.
Yes.
You said he, but it's she.
Yeah, sorry about that. So she selects a lead from her 4th best club, runs around to Declare's 9. Declare does well to set up as many tricks as possible. Got 5 hearts in, 1 club, 1 diamond, just needs 2 spades. Well, assuming the hearts break, so spade to the king. South gets in, switches to clubs. North does her best by switching back to diamonds, trying to get partner back in for another club throw, but Declare hops up with the ace, and when the 10-9 of spades come down in 3 rounds, all of Declare's tricks are coming home. Queen of hearts cashes, 7 of spades, pitching clubs, and 11 tricks. Now, in the other room, something a little bit different happened. East opened a spade, 2 hearts by West, 3 diamonds by East, showing the 5-5, or 5-4 potentially, and West bids 3 no trump. And now, North, as we take a quick peek at the double dummy analysis, you can beat this contract if you start by putting partner in with a diamond to trick 1. You can later cross to the spade ace, collect 3 clubs, and 2 pointed suit tricks to take 5 tricks. And this is exactly what happened. Now, this diamond lead, I think, is a little bit inspired. Do you have any comments on the diamond lead?
I think it's pretty remarkable. Also, just as a point about the bidding, I think this idea of 3 diamonds in this kind of auction showing extras is mostly dead in the U.S., but even if that is how you play, that's a pretty good hand, right? Like, what more are you waiting for?
Sure.
The other one where the player bid 2 spades, it seems, even if 3 diamonds shows extras, to be kind of a conservative view. But yeah, I think, from North's point of view, if dummy was kind of a more normal 5-4, a diamond lead is almost certainly safe, right? West has exactly 2 spades, exactly 5 hearts, probably, unless they're very weak, in which case it doesn't really matter. I think there is probably a pretty good indication from North that West is exactly 2-5, 2-4. Mm-hmm. So, maybe when West has club length like that, it does make sense not to start clubs, to let partner get in and lead through whatever they are. Like if partner had, Jack 3rd of clubs and West had Queen 4th or something, Jack 9 3rd in South, something like that. Maybe leading a club is like so overwhelmingly likely to blow into a 4-card suit that it's worth looking for an alternative and hope to get them on the table later.
Yeah, I totally understand it. And I mean, this type of 3-no bid from West in an auction such as this very obviously comes with the expectation the opponents are leading clubs a lot of the time, so West should be well prepared for a club lead. Whereas in the other room, the way 3-no trump was reached, there's no guarantee that West is prepared for a club lead on that kind of auction. West could just have a 5-3-3-2 type hand with 3 clubs to the queen or something like that, or even 3 clubs to the jack. So very reasonable. But after the 8 of diamonds was led, Declare tried the queen. That did not work. Club came through, and North instantly put the 10 of spades on the table, back to partner's ace, another club. Ace of clubs was cashed, and North-South took the first 5 tricks to defeat 3-no trump. So big swing there for Belgium, who was trailing considerably in the match at this point, but did pull it back together to eventually take the lead. The next set I wanted to check out was from the Bermuda Bowl, 7th round robin segment, this match between Poland and, not Poland and Norway, Netherlands and Israel. Here we go. Netherlands and Israel. So Netherlands, while they were one of the leaders after the first day of play, seems to be slipping a bit. They had a rough day 2, and now this match against Israel in the 7th segment, not particularly good for them. But the one board I wanted to point out was actually a relatively large swing from this match. It was board 11. So in one of the rooms,
Yeah, the play was very interesting on this hand.
Yeah. The play in this board was fairly interesting at a large number of tables. The auction was fairly common, I would say, in many of the rooms that we took a look at. So West opened to spade in second seat. Note West only has a 10 count, but with a singleton, 6-card spade suit, a lot of players were opening at the 1 level. This frequently fetched a 2-heart overcall from North. East, with 5-5 in the minors, makes a negative double. South elected to jump to 4 clubs. I'm not entirely sure what...
It's got to be a fit jump.
Yeah, gotta be a fit jump, but is that necessarily the bid you want to make when East shows clubs?
I mean, did East really? First of all, East didn't really show clubs, right? East showed values.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so South jumps to 4
Also,
clubs.
given that it's quite likely when you have the stiff spade that you're going to hear a 4-spade bid from either East or West at some point in the future, I think it's pretty important to show a partner what's going on.
Sure, sure.
Like, you're going to bid 4 hearts anyway, right? So you might as well bid 4 clubs and put them in the game.
Yeah, makes sense. I guess I might slightly prefer a club lead as South to a diamond lead, but yeah, okay. So we bid 4 clubs, North bids 4 hearts. East on lead, of course, gets off to the Queen of Diamonds lead at trick 1. Declare runs this around to the King, and wanting entries to dummy, leads a club. East plays low, and this has been actually a fairly common play that was made at a large number of tables. Declare is stuck in the 10 here. And this makes sense for a couple of reasons. West being the opening bidder, obviously far more likely to have the club ace, and the fact that East, oftentimes for the negative double, will have both minors, could easily have Queen Jack 5th of clubs, so like this might actually be the way to play the club suit to prevent 2 club losers.
And also, from Declare's point of view, he knows that East knows that North would often be leading a singleton club here. So when the ace doesn't pop up from East, it's pretty likely, for all the reasons you just said, that it's with West.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a very good point. That,
like, if you're East, you would usually pop up.
Yeah, that East would frequently win the club ace here for fear of blowing a trick. And so when East does not do that, Declare is able to find the winning play. This fetches the ace. A heart came back. Declare elected to stick in the jack, kind of maybe a little bit conservatively, now that the clubs have been more or less set up. Has a little bit of freedom to fool around in the trump suit, maybe pick off like king, queen, 4th on side, for example, in a bad worst case scenario. East wins the jack, or East wins the jack with the king, continues diamonds, Declare able to take a spade finesse, cash the ace of hearts. West is going to get the Queen of Hearts, but Declare can safely rough 2 spades in the dummy for 10 tricks. In the other room, though,
So when we get to it, there's a point in the play that I want to stop and call your attention to it.
Sure. So yeah.
I'm going to pull up on my screen so I know exactly which trick it is.
Got it. So in the other room, we do get the same 1 spade opener from West. This has been fairly common on this board, specifically if you wanted to check out other boards from this match. There are ViewGraph archives that you can look into to see how many players opened 1 spade or 2 spades, or some even passed. But 1 spade was pretty common. North elected to pass at this table, and this must have been why Tim Verbeek and I were such good partners, because we hate overcalling at the 2 level without a 6-card suit. So
yeah.
2-heart overcall was fairly popular among most of the players, but North for the Netherlands elected to pass on this hand, passes around to South, who, despite having 7 high card points, does have the spade shortness, does have 4-card hearts, balances with a takeout double, and the fact that South is a passed hand, I think, contributes to this a little bit as well. You might be a little concerned if you were an unpassed hand as South, balancing with double, but here, when partner knows you're limited to like 10 or 11 high card points, maybe, not as scary. So North bids 4 hearts, and East elects to double, and I think this is that's something to be aware of for later in the play. So East doubles 4 hearts, elects to lead partner's spade suit rather than a diamond. Makes sense. Sometimes you want to lead partner suit in these types of auctions. North wins the queen of spades, cashes the spade ace to pitch a club, roughs a spade, finds out about the spade split, crosses in diamonds, roughs another spade, plays the ace of diamonds, and roughs a diamond. And now North is in his hand. Have I already passed the point you wanted to?
I think it actually may have been a different match. I'm trying to find it.
Okay. But at this point in play, so declares 7 tricks in, obviously has the ace of hearts, and obviously if the hearts are splitting 3-1, which might be expected based on this double, he's going to score a long trump. So he just needs to pick up the club suit for a trick. He leads a club. East plays low, and declare does not stick in the 10. Now, East could easily be ducking the ace of clubs in this scenario, has a lot more information about the count of the hand, given that North has already showed out in diamonds and spades. So yes, declare could have thought that East was still holding onto the club ace there. The double, I think, the final double from East, I think, carries a lot of weight in the scenario. So far, East has turned up with, nothing in the way of defensive tricks, and the ace of clubs, I think, would make for a card that East would be more likely to double with as opposed to not. So after a club to the king, West switches to the 3 of hearts. Declare does hop up with the ace, but now is kind of trapped in his hand. The defense is going to come to a club and 2 hearts in the fullness of time, and that's exactly what happened. So down 1, big swing going the way of Israel.
So before we move on to the next segments, can you pull up this board in the Belgium-France match, the mixed, the Wuhan Cup?
The mixed. Let's hope that I can. Fingers crossed. So
right.
Which table?
So the table where it went down, which is Schmidt against the Bears.
Yep, we are here. So okay. Same
so
auction.
At approximately trick 7.
Mm-hmm. All right, we will fast forward. So yeah, same auction, different match. Spade to the queen. Declare in this room. Let a club to the king. At trick 2. Misguesses the clubs.
Possibly correctly for the reasons we talked about, but, also kind of normal.
Yep. Diamond to the king. Continues another club. Finds out about the 5-1 club split. East continues the jack of diamonds. And Declare plays another club. Ruffed.
Okay, so now this is the trick I want you to pause on. So Declare plays the aces. Forward to the next card. Okay. I think they cash the ace of hearts now, right?
Yep.
And now they cash the ace of spades. Mm-hmm. And I want you to pause here. Nope, go back.
Yeah.
What do you play on this card?
Yeah. So this is kind of a double dummy problem at this point, right?
It was a double dummy problem that I could not solve, so I was hoping that we could enlist your help.
I see. And you're saying you don't want me to click on the give button. I don't want to do too much analysis, but
yeah, I'm just saying, there is a correct answer and a wrong answer, and I could not figure out why, which means it must be interesting.
I'm not convinced that it's all that interesting. Like, it looks to me like we can just engineer a trump coup by pitching a club from the south hand. So we're going to go ace of spades, pitch a club, rough a spade, lead a diamond, right, which West has to follow with, so we can rough. Because if we were in this scenario and we lead a club, what happens is West pitches the king of spades. We have to rough in our hand.
Okay, that's exactly what happened. I didn't see that.
Yeah. So what Declare needs to do at this scenario is lead the minor suit that West is following with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we rough a diamond, we rough a spade, and now we're in
Declare.
dummy
Thought it was. I think Declare and I thought it was all the same, and it very much was not.
Got it. Okay. So we see Declare makes the double dummy error of pitching a diamond here, roughs a spade, but then leads a club, and I bet West pitches that king of spades to get out of their own way, and they do. now declare ruffs but is stuck in hand. If they were able to ruff that spade safely, yeah, they would be okay. Or if declare was able to lead hearts from south, because the 7 of spades is actually set up. If we could lead the 9 of hearts from south's hand, we would make the contract. But alas, you can't just cross to the opposing hand whenever you want. That's not how the game works. So, yeah, very cool end position. Thank you. We're going to keep moving on, though. We're going to take a look at the Venice Cup, 7th round robin segment of this set, and I wanted to pull up board 4 from this set. So in one room, this was USA 1 against Turkey. The East-West Turkish pairs opened a spade with West, 2 clubs by East, just a generic game force, 2 spades by West. A lot of players will play this, kind of denying any sort of anything interesting happening. East elected to show spade
denying
support.
The ability to bid 2-no trump, really.
Yeah, denying a real 2-no trump bid. West didn't want to do that without hearts well stopped, so thus the 2 spade rebid. East, hearing partner open and rebid spades, elects to raise to 3 spades with 3-card spade support. Not thinking that 4-3-3, even with a little bit of extra values, would play better in no trump than in spades. West bids 4 spades, that ends the auction. The play was not particularly challenging for declare, but a couple of interesting points. 10 of hearts was led, declare elects not to finesse. Decides to just cash a couple of spades, clearly worried about the potential of a heart ruff. Queen does not fall, leads a club to the king, that holds, goes after hearts, hoping that that will provide a discard for the 10 of clubs. South gets in, switches to the queen of diamonds, declare is able to win, test the heart suit, lead a club, guesses the clubs correctly, and North gets a spade, South gets the ace of clubs, but that's 10 tricks. So maybe not the cleanest line of play, but one that was good enough to make the contract. In the other room...
And I think for the same reason that West didn't want to bid 2-no trump, East didn't want to bid 3-no trump, because each of them had a 3 little unstopped suit.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll see what happens in the other room when one of them does bid 2-no trump. So West opens a spade, East bids 2 clubs.
I guess East didn't want to bid 2-no trump either.
Yeah. So East bids 2 clubs and West bids 2-no, which we've kind of talked about. East, despite having 3-card spade support, thinks, this is fine. We have 2 balanced hands opposite each other. My spades are so good. 3-no trump is probably a worthwhile contract. I have 15 count, so it's not like a complete dead minimum for my opening bid. Partners' minors are going to be well protected from the opening lead, so let's play 3-no trump. And at first glance, it looks like this contract has almost no problems. The queen of spades is on side. West has several entries to hand. You can take the spade finesse. But after the 10 of hearts lead, which declare elects to put in the jack, things get a little bit dicey, and maybe we can go back to this trick 1 and say, well, declare possibly could have just hopped up with the ace of hearts and made things a little bit easier on herself. But
I think also East was going to be quite disappointed the trick 1 went that way, because, as you say, from her point of view, if West can bid 2-no trump happily, we expect her to have the king of hearts, so we're going to be pretty close to a claim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but after diamond comes through at trick 2, we start to notice the problem. Declare wins per force.
And a nice play by South leading a low diamond there.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like looking at 10-9 and dummy, it's not that hard, but it's still, nice to be on the ball when you do it.
Yep. So declare kind of wants to take the spade finesse, but if the spade hook loses and a diamond comes back, the spade suit is blocked. There's no quick re-entry to the West hand. So declare is kind of in trouble. So elects to just go ace king of spades and another spade, but now look what happens. A diamond comes back, and West is able to cash 2 spades, but the hearts don't split. North cleverly covers the 8 of hearts with the 9, and that 5 of hearts over there is good enough to block the suit. So heart goes to the 7. That's trick 8. The ace of hearts got stranded, and North-South were able to take the rest. Down 1. Kind of a, maybe a little bit of a system win, we could say, at one of the tables where they just decided to play in their 5-3 major suit fit. 8-card major suit fits is where it's at, so I hear.
Yeah, and I think also a little bit of, I don't know anything about the Turkish pair in the other room, but this has always been kind of a generational divide where the younger players prefer to bid two spades even with a suit like 10-9 fifth. And Goldberg and Levitin are from an older generation that I think was much less comfortable with that kind of bid.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, a little bit of a generation gap here can be seen in some of the bidding. And for now, the youngsters have a 1-0 lead. But to be determined whether or not that will hold up.
Possibly youngsters.
Yes. So now we're jumping ahead to the 8th round robin segment. I've got a couple of hands from the Dorsey Trophy match between USA 1 and France. USA 1 having a massive win here over France, which has to feel pretty good, thanks to some of the momentum that they pulled from the very first board of the set. 6 clubs making in one room, 6 no trump doubled going down one. But that's not the first hand I want to take a look at. It is board 20, where in one of the rooms, South, we had a little bit of artificial auction going on here, but I think we have a pretty good sense as to what's going on. 2 diamonds by South, some sort of multi-type bid. Could just be a large, big balanced hand, or maybe it has other hand types as well. 2 hearts by North, presumably some sort of asking bid, and 2 no trump by South shows a balanced hand, probably in this range, like 23 to 24. South does happen to have 23, if I counted correctly. 20.
I mean, he does, but it looks like more.
yeah, it definitely looks pretty good. No jacks, good 5-card suit, a bunch of aces and kings. So South rebids 2 no. North bids 3 hearts, transfer to spades, and South, with all of these controls and extra values, jumps to 4 spades. North makes what looks like his only practical try of 5 spades, looking for slam. No Cubids available, of course, unless you want to venture a 5 diamond Cubid with Queen Doubleton.
Let's assume we don't.
Yeah, so 5 spades by North, and South, again, we're not super familiar with what South's hand is. South might have felt like he's already kind of showed his hand with the 2 no rebid. He does have all these controls, which is nice. Then he jumped to 4 spades, which already showed some extras. If his partner couldn't take over and bid keycard, maybe slam isn't ideal.
I think also South has to be really worried that if his partner only had 5 spades, that now he's presumably 4 spades did not, I think 4 spades was a bid that was kind of out of desperation, and that he's really supposed to have a 4th spade here.
Sure, yeah.
So from his point of view, even with all these high cards, if there's any possibility there's a trump problem, you've already lied about your hand. I'm sure he didn't want to compound it by raising to slam and having partners turn up with like king 5th of spades or something.
Yeah, definitely. South
North might have tried Texas, although I don't think that would have solved this problem, because I suspect North was planning to raise 3 spades to 4, which would have given them more room. I think South's 4 spade bid kind of, jammed up North's plans in a way that, even though it showed his values faster, made the auction harder.
Sure, yeah.
Like if South picked 3 spades, North raises showing a mild slam try, and now South can just key card.
Yep. Yeah, very true. Very true. Well, for whatever was going on, South elected to pass 5 spades, and of course, with the spades splitting 2-1, Declare just loses the ace of diamonds and easily makes 12 tricks. In the other room, we had a bit of a different opinion. So here, North opened 2 spades, second seat vulnerable. 7-card suit wouldn't be everyone's choice, but kind of understandable. The rest of the hand is kind of garbage. Queen Doubleton of diamonds, not necessarily pulling full weight, and the spade suit is a little bit ratty. So
you're in second seat, you're vulnerable.
Yep.
All these negatives.
Yeah, so South bids 2 no trump to ask for more information about North's hand, and I think, as you said, North made a very excellent bid here of 4 spades, which a lot of the time, South's 2 no trump bid might be based on a hand that's like looking to know if partner's minimum or maximum in values, and then would stick the contract in 3 no trump with, say, a singleton spade. So in that case, North with only a 6-card spade suit would never really bypass 3 no, unless they were very confident that 4 spades was the right auction or right spot. So I think North probably did very well to suggest a 7-card spade suit here with the 4 spade bid. Is that what you think was going on?
I think it's exactly what was going on. I think he was trying to show a 7th spade and no feature, which is just, if you're South, it's just perfect, right? You can count 13 or you can count 12 tricks as long as partner does have the king of spades to go with.
Yeah, and so that's exactly what South did. South bid 4 no trump, North showed 1 key card, and South bid 6 no trump. And whether
with 100% confidence, he has 7 spades, 3 diamonds, and 2 clubs. You don't need anything to break.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Whether partner's key card is the spade king or diamond ace, you're still going to be completely cold as long as the spades are 2-1. So 6 no trump easily made when the spades split, and that was a big pickup to USA 1.
For this. Yeah.
That was one of the boards from this match that I wanted to point out. Another one actually was, I keep saying that it's not always the slams and game swings that cause a large number of imps to be thrown around. This board 31 is incredible in a number of ways. So I'm first going to show off what happened in one of the rooms.
This was quite a board.
Yeah, so 2 passes go around to North in 3rd seat, who opens a club just conventionally. I mean, he has an 18 count, probably planning to rebid 2 no trump.
North-South are playing a somewhat older generation 2/1, I believe.
Yeah, and so when club passes out, that's never really the spot you want to be in when you're vulnerable. Whether it's match points or imps, you just hate playing in 1 club. I mean, 1 diamond is sometimes fine, but
I'm sorry, I was thinking, so we don't have to look at it. I was thinking of a different table where a French pair, I believe it was a French pair, went pass. North opened 2 diamonds, showing a 2 no trump opening, like a 20-21 balance probably, or maybe 18-20 balance, whatever it was, in South Pass.
That's a good one. That is a good one on this hand. But
it was not a winning action.
Yeah,
they were actually able to make 3 no trump at the other table.
That's unfortunate for them. But yeah, so at the table in front of us, East electing to lead his doubleton makes a ton of sense. Trying to get rough, or just trying to set up diamonds, doesn't want to lead away from the king queen of spades. Oftentimes North is going to have an 18-19 balanced for this type of auction, so you kind of want to lead passively if you can. 10 of diamonds.
Almost guaranteed when West couldn't open or balance, and you have a 10 count.
Yeah, so the 10 diamonds goes to the jack. Declare elects to lead the 3 of spades now, and this is an interesting choice. I'm not going to delve too much into it, but had Declare led the 10 of spades, and had the 10 of spades not been covered, Declare might have gotten a good sense as to what was going on in the spade suit. When Declare takes the equivalent percentage play of leading a low spade to the 8, as opposed to leading the 10 on the first round, East wins the queen, but now Declare was under the impression that maybe a second spade hook would work. So a second diamond comes through, Declare wins the king, takes another spade hook, East wins the king.
East could have contributed to that impression by winning the king of spades on the first round of the suit also.
Sure. But for what it's worth, East was able to score 2 spades, a 3rd spade came through. Declare tried a 4th spade pitching a heart, but West was able to rough in, switch to clubs, and after pulling all the trumps, I heart over to West, Declare winning the ace. Ultimately, Declare got end played into leading a heart away from the jack, and ends up going 2 down. So that's what happened in one room. In the other room, I don't know if you've looked at this from a double dummy perspective. There is only one lead that East can make to defeat 2 no trump, and I will give you 12 guesses and you will not find it.
Yeah, so I looked at it from sort of a double dummy perspective because at the table in the match where one table played two diamonds by North, in the other room, actually, I thought Declare made a nice play. So 3-0 is hopeless, but
Hmm.
it went a low spade to the 9 and Jack, and Declare a trick 2 let a low heart to the 10, and West did not figure out to put a club on the table.
I see.
So they ended up making it, which was, maybe West should, you know, figure out what's going on. I believe the pair was not playing Smith, which makes it much harder. Although, I don't know, maybe if you're playing Smith, you still encourages East. But still, I thought it was a pretty good play to give themselves the only chance to set up a ninth trick, and eventually they got it. So only one card beats two no trump. So
I gave you a hint. It's going to
my
be
inclination would be the Jack of Clubs, but that doesn't seem to work.
your 13th guess is correct.
What was the Jack of Clubs?
This is kind of a fascinating study type hand where we first need to unblock the club suit so
It
that
works and the four doesn't.
yeah we need to be able to collect three club tricks first before switching to spades through the ace jack and North's hand.
But we can do that by leading the four also.
No, because then when a second club comes through, East has to win the jack. So
Oh, I see. When we lead the Jack, Declare can't cover because you take four club tricks, but then the lead is in the right hand.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So this is what happens, and now very important that we have to play a spade through immediately to beat
Nice
2-0.
defense.
Anyway, I mean, obviously, very little of this actually happened. East led the 9 of hearts much more reasonably against this kind of auction. That ran around to the jack. Declare ended up running some diamonds and then led a club to the queen and ace. The jack of clubs came back overtaking, and eventually Declare ended up with 8 tricks, taking the 2 hearts that they got at tricks 1 and 2, 5 diamonds, and the ace of spades. So fairly large swing since 2 no trump made in this room, and 1 club went down 2. That went the way of USA 1, and who ended up completely crushing France, even though so many imps were thrown around, mostly thanks to a couple of slams that were bid early. So in the Bermuda Bowl, on the other hand, there was one very interesting board, which we will get to at the end of the broadcast. I'm going to save that one for last. We're going to jump ahead to the Dorsey Trophy, round 9, match between Israel and USA 2. A couple of interesting hands here. The first one was this board 11. So I'm not going to go too in depth into what happened in this room. A lot of artificiality going on. South opens a diamond, North bids 2 diamonds. There's a takeout double, presumably for the majors. Eventually, East-West somehow got to 3 no trump on their cards. North-South eventually competing to 5 clubs, and that's where play ended. East, for whatever reason, elected not to lead a spade from their spade sequence in this room, led a trump. Not that it really mattered at the 5 level. Declare was able to pull trumps, lead a diamond towards the king, claim 12 tricks. The spade goes away on the king of diamonds with major suit entries to the south hand. But the other table was very interesting what happened. So auction, much shorter. South opens a diamond. North bids 2 clubs. We get a takeout double once again. 2 spades by West. 3 spades by North with a solid club suit. Hearts stopped, just looking for a spade stopper, potentially for 3 no trump. Double by East. South redoubles. Now, I'm not certain I understand what redouble was. Do you have any guess?
I was guessing that it showed a spade stopper, but a disinclination to bid 3 no trump. But I'm obviously biased by the fact that I'm looking at the hand and that's what the guy's holding.
Fair point.
But
fair
I think
point.
that would be a sensible agreement, right?
Yeah.
If the opponent partner asks for a stopper, the opponents have given us the room to show a stopper and still decide which side to play from. So that could also be, what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be this extreme, but I think, yes, I can stop the spades, but I still don't want to declare. It would be a very sensible meaning to use that redouble for, and I think that's exactly what was happening.
Yeah, kind of agree. So, if North had like Queen Doubleton of Spades, then obviously South wants his partner to declare 3 no trump
Or Queen
having.
Doubleton of Hearts, by the way.
Yeah, that as well. But after the redouble, came back to North, and North liked what he saw, so he jumped all the way to 6 clubs. And East, we take a look at the hand and we say, well, if East leads the King of Spades, he's going to get in with the Diamond Ace later. There's no real squeeze available. So the contract is just going to go down one, right?
Clear needs the king, it's bitch's loser, but we can just cash it.
Yeah, of course. So we do get the King of Spades lead, and this makes the hand all that much more interesting. Of course, I would say no spoilers on the result. Obviously, everyone watching has seen the result at this table, but let's see how Declare handles the contract after the King of Spades lead. So if, as Declare, we were to, say, lead a heart to the ace right now, for starters, the opponents are going to give each other heart count, and then they're going to have a really easy time counting the rest of the hand, especially now that they know the layout of the heart suit. And eventually, Declare with 2 losers, 1 spade and 1 diamond, is going to play one of those suits, and then the defense is just going to quickly cash the other one. So I think crossing to the heart ace and running trumps might have some small amount of practical value. Running a long suit does help out, but I really like the way Declare played this hand by exiting a spade at trick 2.
I mean, that also, East is allowed to have King, Queen, Jack, 10 of spades instead of King, Queen, Jack, 5, where the 9, 8 of spades might become important cards in some squeeze layout.
Sure, yes. It is definitely possible for you to have some sort of 3-suit squeeze against East with 2 losers. I'm not convinced that it would ever work on this hand, but maybe. Maybe it would be very remote, but I really do like the way that North played the hand at this table, just exiting a spade, and poor East sitting over here. Can I cash the ace of diamonds? North jumped to 6 clubs on this kind of auction. Maybe North has a diamond void. Seems a little bit scary to try and cash the diamond ace. Feels completely safe.
North is just playing the hand like he's not worried about it.
Yeah, and so it feels completely safe to continue the Queen of Spades, which so far it is, but now West's hand does come under a little bit of pressure, and West needs to be very careful about how he discards. If he ever pitches a heart, or if East had actually happened to have started with 5 hearts to the Queen, then from this point in play, there would be a legitimate red suit squeeze against East to make the contract. So Declare does run the clubs, and on the second to last club, we get over here to West. Really needs to keep that Jack third of hearts protected, but falters at the last minute, possibly due to a little bit of fatigue. It's the 3rd day of the event. Hopefully not. There's still a lot of bridge to be played, but could have thrown a diamond or a spade, pitches the heart, and now after the ace of hearts takes trick 10, Declare is able to lead the 5 of clubs. East is caught in a squeeze, and 6 clubs comes home. So big swing going the way of Israel, which was much needed for them as they were down considerably, but they did not quite make the comeback. One more board I wanted to point out from this set is board 13, and yeah, let's take a look in the other room first. So I think you had mentioned that a lot of the tables were playing very interesting contracts on this board. This match, no exception. Both pairs. And
I think everyone's playing either 4 spades or 3 no trump, but a lot of East-West did get to 4 spades.
Yeah, so they're in this.
Most of the diversions was in the play. The auctions all seem to end up in the same spot.
Right. Yeah. So we get to this awful 4-3 spade fit, but we have a ton of values for East-West. South opens 2 hearts in this room, 5-5 in the red suits, take out double by West, 3 hearts by North, raising the preempt, 3 spades by East. West, with a little bit of extra values, kind of feels obligated to bid a game. There's not a whole lot of room between 3 spades and 3 no trump, so.
Yeah, I mean, what do we think of East-West choices here? Because I think, they're all sort of sensible single dummy, but obviously double dummy they lead to a suboptimal spot. I mean, do you consider doubling his East? Does that absolutely deny four spades? Is it too light? Which I think it's not too light because you're a passed hand. But I think, if you're flexible at your double where you could back into a 4-4 spade fit, like maybe it's a good action, except poor West now is going to be stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if East were to make a responsive double over three hearts, West, of course, is going to maybe even jump to five clubs.
Right, and his hand is pretty good. So I think, so like, yeah, we can say that they got to this, like, not optimal contract, but it's awfully hard. Like, East West, they had a lot of options, and they all end up somewhere unpalatable.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyway, we get to four spades, and South on lead tries the King of Hearts. And
as I think every table I looked at did.
Yep.
Totally normal.
Yeah, and it
maybe a little surprising no one's leading a stiff club, but I think every single table I saw led the King of Hearts.
Yeah, King of Hearts opening lead makes a ton of sense to me. I'm a little surprised that South doesn't switch to the Singleton Club at trick 2 if you are going to switch. It of course is a little bit scary with Queen Jack doubled in a spades. You might expect that you're not getting in, or if you do, you're going to get a natural spade trick anyway. So what's the point in switching to clubs? May as well.
And you can see the partner has no quick entry.
Yeah, may as well put a diamond through. But
of course, South are playing standard signals, so South can account for all four aces.
Sure. So anyway, South does switch to the 4 of diamonds. Declare wins the ace, but now Declare is firmly in control if they're careful. But this is a very pretty hand. So Declare should probably expect the 5-3 heart split despite the preempt, just given that North doesn't appear to have like a King Doubleton or Queen Doubleton of hearts that some people might raise to the 3 level with, opposite a 2 level preempt. So Declare does win the ace of hearts, ruff a heart low, and now plays 2 rounds of spades, sees the Queen Jack Doubleton, and now, very important that Declare runs the diamond suit if they want to make the contract. In this room, Declare, kind of a little bit hasty, elects to try a club finesse. And this feels like the wrong play for a couple of reasons. One, South is preempted, but two, there's just no rush in doing this. We can take the club finesse later if we need to.
I mean, and our entry position is fine, right? I think, sure, maybe we're a little worried that if diamonds are 5-1 somehow the other way, that's bad for us. We can just cash the 10 of diamonds, keep the lead in our hand, still have our flexibility, and we'll see North show out, and then we'll know exactly what to do.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Sometimes there can be like convenience reasons to make a play like this, even if you don't really want to, but this isn't a hand like that.
Yeah, because even if North was able to rough the 10 of diamonds, we would still be able to get back to our hand to take the club finesse later.
Well, if you're roughing 10 of diamonds, we can see he's end played.
Yep. Yeah, and that's exactly the point. So this was a little bit of a premature play taking the club finesse, but in the other room, on a somewhat similar auction, so 2 hearts by South, double by West, at this table North did not raise the preempt, and that allowed East to be maybe a little more conservative in action choices, has a little bit of flexibility with the 3 heart bid, double by South, West tries 4 clubs, understandably, no heart stopper, long club suit, doesn't know what partner's doing, East bids 4 spades, they still get to the 4-3 fit, and we get the King of Hearts lead again. At this table, South continues the Queen of Hearts, so Declare wins the ace, continues the 10 of Hearts and roughs it low. Probably in this scenario, Declare wasn't too worried about North over-roughing because it would likely be with a natural trump trick. But North follows, and Declare is able to play 2 rounds of trumps, sees the Queen Jack spades fall from South, but now Declare found the right line. Plays a diamond to the Queen, ace of diamonds, North roughs in, but now North is kind of end played. Cashes the 9 of spades, but has to exit a club away from the King. And this was always going to be inevitable. North's best attempt was probably to just pitch clubs on all of the diamonds as Declare ran the suit. But
after that 2-part opening, Declare is just going to have a count, so he's going to know that it's safe to throw North in. It looks a little scary to, run yourself out of trumps when there's a suit open against you, but Declare can see it's totally safe.
Yep. Yeah,
The two-heart
definitely.
opening bid is really revealing.
Yep. So four spades made in this room. Another big swing going the way of USA 2 in this match. And I think we have one more board to go. That is save the best for last, Bermuda Bowl, round robin, eighth set between USA 2 and Switzerland. All right. We are into the last board that I wanted to bring up today. It is from USA 2 versus Switzerland in the Bermuda Bowl, eighth segment of the round robin. And we can see the match was very, very close, but heading into this very last board of play, which I'm going to pull up right now in one of the rooms, USA 2 was down by an awful lot, and they were very thankful to have the opportunity to earn some imps back here. So in one of the rooms, West from Switzerland opened a diamond, North overcalled a heart, East made a negative double. South, despite the negative double, bid his 5-card spade suit, 2 diamonds from West, 2 spades from North, finding the spade fit, 3 no from East. He has a 12 count, his partner opened the bidding, he has spades while stopped, he has hearts while stopped. Hard to fault him for
Partner's long suit.
Yeah, exactly. So for the 3-no bid, pass, and North makes a sensible decision to double 3-no. This oftentimes in these auctions says don't make your normal opening lead. In this case, a spade feels like a pretty normal opening lead from South, given that North has raised the spade suit. So North would prefer partner puts a heart through to his hand so that he can play a spade through. North will get in with a club later, put another spade through. Hopefully that will lead to the defeat of the contract. South ignored his warning, led the queen of spades anyway, but quite reasonably so. Given that he has king, queen, 10, he probably expects a spade layout very similar to this. No reason not to start on the spades at trick 1. Queen of spades held trick 1. Heart went to North's king. Spade came through. East hopped up with the ace, pitching a club. And given that East was doubled in 3-no trump at this room, he didn't try to sneak a club to the king. He didn't try and go after any other suit as well. That would have ended up going down more. Just elects to cash out the diamonds and take 8 tricks. So 3-no trump doubled goes down 1. Hard-fought battle. But in the other room, disaster had struck for the Switzerland squad, where this auction could have ended a bunch of different ways, but they reached the absolute worst final contract, at least if you're a Switzerland fan. So, long auction, we'll go over most of the auction. The play itself was not particularly interesting. 1 diamond by West, a heart overcall by North, negative double by East, 1 spade by South, 2 diamonds by West, 2 spades by North, 3-no by East, pass. We've seen all of this before.
So far, it has gone exactly the same way.
Yep. And at this point, North looked at the vulnerability, shrugged his shoulders, and put 4 clubs on the table. Now, it's understandable, I would say, to make this 4-club bid. Sometimes the opponents really do just have 9 rippers. East has the ace-king of spades and the king of diamonds, and they're taking 7 diamonds and the ace-king of spades off the top. Or East has like the ace-queen of spades, which is protected from the opening lead. On any other opening lead, declarer can just set up a 9th trick elsewhere. And so 3-no could have made. Hard to fault North for taking what looks like a pretty cheap save, at the very least, with the singleton diamond. Well, 4 clubs passes around to West, who does take a crack at it, but East had something more on his mind. The singleton club, the vulnerability. East bids 4 diamonds. West takes the push to the 5 level, and North at this point makes the ill-fated double that would have worked out so much better directly over 3-no trump, over 5 diamonds. So maybe expecting that he has 3 cashers, ace, king of hearts, ace of clubs. He also heard his partner bid a spade in the auction. Maybe he's hopeful that his partner has a defensive trick. Alas, after the ace of hearts lead, A diamond switch, declare leads the 10 of clubs off dummy, south plays low, 10 of clubs runs to the ace, and when north has no second diamond to lead, declare is just able to ruff both of those club losers in the east hand before getting back to west's hand to pull trumps and take the rest. So 5 diamonds bid and made, doubled to go with the 200 in the other room. Big 14 imps going the way of USA2, who brings the match back to close to even. So that is going to bring us to the cross table after the end of day 3 of play. Here we are. We have teams 1 through 24 on the screen. Switzerland in first, USA2 in second. We saw both of them just play and have a very, very tight match. In fact, the victory point difference...
Let me for 1 second, because you closed your screen sharing. Where can I find that?
I am sorry. There we go. It is right up there.
Thank you.
So, yeah, Switzerland in first, USA2 in second. We just saw both of them play, and they had a very close match. The victory point difference might be very close to the difference in score in that one match alone. Poland, Israel, Norway, Netherlands, and New Zealand rounding out the top 7. And then there's a fairly large gap, and we can see that all of Ireland, Italy, Brazil, India, USA1, Belgium, and China are within striking distance. 1 game swing in any match between these teams could make a difference. About 6 victory points separating 8th from 14th place right now. A lot of teams will be battling for that 8th place spot. That isn't to say that New Zealand or Netherlands or Norway couldn't slip up, Israel and Poland as well, or some of the teams lower in the standings might be able to make a move. We're 9 sets in, 23 total. We got 14 to go, 5 more days of round robin action, then 6 full days of semifinals, or quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. 3 sets a day, 6 sets total for each of those matches. So lots of bridge to be had. I will be streaming some of this starting...
I would just add one slight point of interest here. Notice of the current top 3 places, half the people are Polish. You know, the entire Polish team and half of the Switzerland team. Pretty remarkable, remarkable result by Polish players in this event.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe Poland should have had a Poland 1 and Poland 2 then to play in the event, as opposed to USA 1 and USA 2. But, so currently I plan to be streaming starting tomorrow, or maybe today, depending on when you're watching this video, and do some coverage of this event. Hopefully Craig will be joining me at some points to do some commentary as well, and maybe I will have some other guests on stream. But that's going to...
I'll aim to join you for the 10:50 a.m. East Coast set if I'm awake, which I should be.
Sure. Well, that is going to wrap up the recap for today. Hope everyone enjoyed the recap. If I'm streaming, I might not do more of these for the remainder of the week, but we will see. I hope everyone has a great day, and I will see you all next time.